recording. Good morning. This is the Friday Fireside. I'm here with Jeff Allen. He's the president of ShortsTV. Jeff, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking, and thank you for inviting me on the show.
We're very glad to have you. Short form video is a very hot topic these days. We'll get into some of the competition, who's made it a little hotter or colder depending on your perspective. But tell us a little bit about ShortsTV. What do you do? Where'd you come from? Who are you, and what do you do there?
Great. Okay, so who am I? Just a guy from Kansas. I moved out to Los Angeles a little over 17 years ago to go to film school. So my roots are in filmmaking, and I have a great passion for short filmmaking in particular because in film school, as you probably know, there's a lot of short film happening there. So that's how I cut my teeth, and a great passion of mine. Out of film school, I met an Academy Award-winning film producer and studio executive that had a plan for disintermediation, right? He wanted to keep making movies, but he wanted to make these movies directly for consumers and disintermediate from the Hollywood system. So he had this idea. He was a filmmaker and an entrepreneur, and his idea was to create a production company that was nested inside of a tech company that was capable of serving media directly to consumers. This was over a decade ago. This was before SVOD had an acronym, but really we were launching an SVOD service. Okay. And we did. And so we were producing films and selling them directly to consumers. And we just built this subscriber base up by the skin of our teeth initially until about 2012. It was actually about 2010 when Hallmark started to take notice of what we were doing. And we had brokered a deal with Hallmark in order to take their Hallmark Hall of Fame movies that they used to put on network television and digitize those and put them through our platform. And we continued to grow that subscriber base until 2012 when Hallmark outright bought that startup. So that filmmaker that started it was named Rob Fried. He's famous for movies like Rudy and Hoosiers and Collateral and So I Married an Axe Murderer and a whole bunch of others you probably know and love. And in 2012, that's officially when that SVOD startup became a Hallmark company without the Hallmark brand.
Right.
What Hallmark did was infuse us with the support to continue to grow the service direct to consumer and ultimately rebrand that service to something that was called Feelin. And we launched on iOS and Android and Roku and all the new streaming devices and a whole host of other streaming devices that didn't make it, by the way, like Neo TV and Boxy and these guys.
Yeah.
So we were able to continue to grow that platform as Feelin. And then that SVOD service ended up being rebranded to a Hallmark branded service called Hallmark Movies Now at the end of 2017, at which point in time we begun to transition that business over to Crown Media, which is famous for the Hallmark Channel and their associated linear channels. So now they operate Hallmark Movies Now, which is Hallmark's version of Netflix.
Right.
That's sort of how I cut my teeth in the SVOD industry. Over the course of this last decade, I wore many hats as part of that growth. I was producing shows that were on the service as well as running the marketing campaigns and was product management, managing developers to launch our new devices and stuff like that. So I grew up with the streaming industry. I grew up professionally with the streaming industry.
So when did you start ShortsTV per se?
I just started with ShortsTV in March of this year.
Okay, so they were an existing service and they brought you in to give it a boost.
Oh, ShortsTV? Yeah. ShortsTV has been around for over a decade also, over 15 years. And I was wrong when I said March. I actually started here at the beginning of May.
Okay.
ShortsTV, yeah. They've been around linear cable channel with a global footprint now for 15 years. For 15 years, they've been doing all of the Oscar Shorts theatrical campaigns as well. They have access to 100 million households. They also deal with predominantly short form content, right? The kind of films that I was making in film school and the short form, like theatrical film, animation, live action, documentary, short form.
So I'm actually a ShortsTV subscriber. As we said, I'm on DirecTV. I think you're on channel 573 for anybody who's looking. And I find it refreshing. First of all, I get bored easily. That's why the Friday Firesides we try to keep in 10 to 15 minutes, because at a half hour, I am losing my attention. Your content, the short form, scripted, dramatic comedy, whatever it is compact, exceedingly well produced, and great fun to watch. Now, my channel is streaming it back to back to back. But you also do you have an on-demand variation of this where I can go to a catalog and watch what I want?
Yeah, as it exists today, ShortsTV is predominantly a linear channel that, like you said, just goes back to back.
So something's on at 8 o'clock on a Saturday night, and then something else is on at 8:20 on a Saturday night.
You got it. We take great care in programming that channel.
I noticed that, and you promote it well, and you kind of create. I think I saw one time a Saturday night was kind of a romance night. And those kinds of things. So I know you're intimately involved in that. But then you also have streaming on-demand service, right?
Yeah, there are also ways in which you can get video on demand through your cable provider and that sort of thing. And we're also in development on a subscription video on demand product as well.
There you go. Okay. All right. So now, as we're seeing the consumption of television peaking, all television, all video, does that change the way that you are programming the linear channel? You're not actually creating the content, right? You are licensing other people's content for the most part? Okay.
We do have a production department and do create originals, mostly original series that help to bolster the other product which we are licensing and championing. And these are independently produced, high-quality short films.
Right. And many of them are Academy Award winners, and I would assume Emmy Award winners of all that. I mean, it's the good stuff.
It is the good stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So has your business model changed at all as we're going through this massive consumption, people sitting at home watching stuff? And are you expecting it to change going forward? In other words, what is the pandemic, what has COVID-19 done to the business of ShortsTV?
So, like you said, there has been immense media consumption during this time period when people find themselves at home. And we have definitely seen that across all of our channels. We've seen 2 and 3x growth in consumption, time watched, both on our linear channels and through our companion apps, like our companion iOS app.
Yep.
So it's palpable. We are perceiving that people are consuming more. It's also affected our business in other ways, because we are at our core supporting the fundamentals of filmmaking. You know, the short film is fundamental in nature to the whole film industry. All the great content that you see in long form, it all started with filmmakers making shorts. That's how you learn.
What you want to get is the Academy Award winner 20 years ago, and the way he got started.
Exactly. So we've pivoted a little bit during this whole pandemic to try to support initiatives that are also foundational support for the film industry. We've been partnering with like film festivals, for instance, big ones that find themselves in a precarious situation because they can't have their festival in the ways in which they have had it in the past.
Right.
So we brokered some deals where we could help put that festival on our airwaves and help to keep them going in this time when the whole world's on lockdown. We're also supporting independent movie theaters, which have to be among those most affected by people, the shelter at home policies. And we partnered with over 80 independent theaters to package our programs up into a theatrical style presentation and let them distribute it on the local theater website, sell tickets and get people, trying to watch, and hopefully and splitting that revenue with the theaters themselves, hoping to keep them going during this period also.
That's pretty cool. We just saw a story recently on the theatrical side that Walmart, of all people, are introducing drive-in movies.
Yeah.
In their parking lots. Now, I don't know what the quality of the video is going to be, but I can tell you that they're going to sell a lot of popcorn.
Exactly.
That's probably exactly why they're doing that. So as the theatrical movie business reinvents itself, you're kind of in a good position because you have the content, you have the shows, you have the distribution, and you have the technology to get the stuff out there. That's pretty cool. I like that. So let's talk about that other company, Quibi, the train wreck from some really smart people, frankly, but wow. Their business model is also a subscription model, only on smartphones. They kind of missed the boat about anybody actually watching it at home. They were designed for people who are going to be watching it on the bus or on the train, and nobody's taking buses or trains, right? What advice would you give Quibi?
Well,
I guarantee you they're going to watch this. They tend to pay attention to a lot of my stuff, especially.
I don't know that I'd be so bold as to start giving advice to Quibi. Like you said, there are a lot of smart people working there, and I'm sure that they're doing what they can and making informed decisions. I just think, we're playing a different game than Quibi is playing. I read on Vulture the other day that Quibi's spending something like $100,000 per minute on the content. Surely content is king. The adage holds true today. But $100,000 a minute on content is frankly not a game that we are playing, nor would we want to play here at ShortsTV. It's an expensive game. And I put Quibi in the same category as Netflix, where it is 100% about the content because they're a subscription service, and they're a subscription service that is not supported by an ecosystem. All the other members of FANG, right? Really, if you talk about the Apples and the Amazons and the Disneys of the world too, they have streaming services. They have their SVOD solutions now, but these are businesses with ecosystems, and they're willing to play the expensive content game in order to draw people in and keep people in those ecosystems. If you compare this to, say, like the movie theater model, the movies themselves are expensive to produce, right? And they get people in the doors of the movie theaters. But appropriate to your comment about Walmart and the popcorn, the movie theaters are making their money off of the things with the margins, the Coke and the popcorn and the candy that's extravagantly priced, right? Like this is what keeps the movie theater business model going. It's an ecosystem, and the movies get you in the door and get you in there, and then you're willing to spend on other things that come with it. Netflix, Quibi, they're not necessarily playing that same game. It is all about the content, and the content is expensive. So I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't have any advice to give them. I think that they should keep doing what they're doing, and hopefully, when we all come out of COVID and we are in the use case that they were designed for, on the bus or wherever, maybe it comes and takes. They need hits, right? They need a hit that people start talking about and people gotta watch. Same with Netflix.
True. That's true. And we're about out of time, but I will suggest to you that if Quibi goes the way that most analysts, myself included, think they're going to go, they're going to have a lot of content with no place to put it. And if Netflix is technically the dollar store of content, you're at the other end of the scale. So maybe you'll have an opportunity to license some of their short form stuff, some of which is apparently pretty good. I watched a couple and I kind of went, eh. But anyway, there might be some fun in there. You might get some new content from them because you're a distribution channel. That's what you are. You are a distributor and a marketer of high quality, short form content.
We certainly are.
That's what you do for a living. All right. Jeff Allen, thank you very much for your time. This will run on Friday morning. And if I can find the right button here, we're going to sign off. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Rick. Bye.